In 1963, Israel was very close to making a nuclear bomb, but this was bothering American President John F. Kennedy. He did not want Israel to make a nuclear bomb and stir up trouble in the Arab world, because if this happened, the Arabs would ask America's enemy Russia for help. Kennedy tried every possible way to stop Israel, but then what happened was not in anyone's imagination. Whether it is America, UK, or Russia, powerful countries have played with such dangers to get nuclear weapons, which is difficult to guess. Somewhere secret intelligence operation, somewhere the support of honey trap. Even in this game, close friends of the countries openly ditched each other. Today, we will know the story of those 10 countries that are the owners of this terrifying power. Viewers, there are a total of 195 countries in the world, and almost all of them have advanced military and high-tech weapons to defend themselves. But out of 195, only 10 countries have the world's most dangerous, most destructive nuclear weapon. Think about it. In today's world, where every country is in a race to get ahead of each other, only 5% of the countries have succeeded in making this weapon. Some of them helped each other, but most of them did this in a secret way, in which high-level spying, deadly hostility, and deception were used extensively. The story of getting nuclear weapons of the other 9 countries, including America, is as interesting as that of the Manhattan Project in America. Let's start with America first. Everyone knows that America was the first country to get atomic weapons. But did you know that this discovery was made by Hitler's scientists first? Yes, in 1938, the German scientists invented nuclear fission for the first time. That is, the way to break atoms and extract a lot of energy through a chain reaction. At that time, the world of science was very small, and this explosive discovery of the German scientists reached Albert Einstein in America. He immediately warned the American president that Hitler could do anything by making a bomb that would destroy humanity with this new discovery. After this letter, America launched a very secret project during World War II, which is now famous as the Manhattan Project. In this, American, UK, and Canadian scientists were included, and a lot of money was spent so that Hitler would not win the race. Anyway, by 1945, Germany had put weapons, and Hitler was also finished. Meanwhile, the news came that America's first nuclear Trinity test was successful in New Mexico. Thus, America achieved the first position in obtaining the most powerful weapon of humanity. Without any delay, next month America dropped atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on Japan, which forced Japan to put weapons. This ended the war, but now everyone was in the race to get this new nuclear weapon. But America did not want this weapon to go into someone else's hands. Now let's come to the story of the Soviet Union, Russia. Surprisingly, in World War II, America's own ally country, which supported them and pushed Hitler out of the way, had a bigger problem than America's first nuclear test. And it was none other than the Soviet Union. Yes, in World War II, the Soviet Union was America's ally, but in 1941, American and British scientists stopped publishing nuclear research papers. On this, the Soviets felt that this copy was being intentionally hidden from them. The Soviet Union quietly left its spies in America's Manhattan Project and started getting all the information. Here, the Soviets felt that they were playing a game with America, and the Americans there were no less than anyone. They turned Soviet agents into double agents and started delivering false information to them. After 1945, when the Soviet Union doubted the double agents, they did not fully trust the stolen American designs and continued their research. As a result, much earlier than America's expectations, in 1949, the Soviets successfully completed the RDS-1 test in Kazakhstan. Now, on this technology, America's monopoly was over, and the Cold War began between the two. The third country to get nuclear was the United Kingdom, but even though it was a friendly country, it was deceived by America. In fact, the UK had already started research on nuclear weapons under the Tube Alloys Project in 1940. The German scientists who had fled from Germany helped them in this work. But due to a shortage of resources in World War II, the UK gave all its research to its close ally, America's Manhattan Project. Similarly, not for free, but there was an agreement called Quebec between them. Under this agreement, both countries would share this technology with each other. But when America successfully made its first nuclear weapon, its attitude changed. They broke the Quebec Agreement with the UK and refused to share information. That is, direct deception. This deception forced Britain to restart its nuclear program, because they had already done a lot of work and most of the world's uranium was under their control. That's why they completed this work very quickly. In 1952, the UK successfully completed its first nuclear test on the Montebello Islands near Australia, which was named Operation Hurricane. Meanwhile, when America saw that Russia and the UK had also acquired nuclear bombs, they started working on something that was thousands of times more dangerous than a normal atomic bomb: hydrogen bomb. Yes, in a normal atom bomb, atoms are broken down to make energy, which is called fission. While in a hydrogen bomb, atoms are joined together to make energy using the method of fusion. Exactly the same process that happens in the sun. In 1952, America tested this new bomb. The power of this new bomb was 450 times more than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Then what? In 1955, Russia, and in 1957, the UK also exploded their own hydrogen bombs and showed the world that we are no less than anyone. Now let's come to France, which is the fourth country to get nuclear. Some French scientists worked on the Manhattan Project, but after World War II, their intention was not to bomb, but to make electricity from nuclear. After that, something happened that changed France's mind. The Suez Crisis, which is Egypt's largest asset, was ruled by France and Britain before 1956. But Egypt's leader Gamal Abdel Nasser raised his voice and closed the Suez Canal and occupied it. Seeing this, France and Britain together with Israel made a secret plan and attacked Egypt. But at that time, America and Russia supported both Arab countries a lot, and the reason was the oil coming out of there. Russia threatened France and Britain that if they did not retreat, they would use the atomic bomb. While America began to put economic pressure on France, forced France to retreat, and this embarrassment forced them to make their own nuclear bomb. They worked day and night from their colonies such as Niger, Gabon, and Madagascar. In 1960, France conducted its first nuclear test in the Sahara Desert, and by 1968, France had also made a hydrogen bomb. The fifth country was China. During the Korean War in 1950, a time came when the Chinese military forced the American troops to retreat. After that, he could not resist America and he threatened China with nuclear. Chairman Mao Zedong understood that until nuclear is not done, the world will keep suppressing them. In the beginning, the Soviet Union was a firm friend of China, and it helped China in making nuclear bombs. But then both of them fell apart. At that time, Russia's new leader, Nikita Khrushchev's policies for America began to soften. So China's Chairman Mao said that you are no longer a real communist. In response, Russia called back all its scientists and left China's nuclear dream incomplete. But China took it as a challenge and found uranium from its mountains. In 1964, China conducted its first nuclear test and named it 596. This name was no less than a slap on the face of Russia, because it shows 59 in 1959 and 6 in the month of June. That is, in June 1959, Russia left China alone on this journey. The sixth country is Israel, and its story is quite interesting. Israel is the only country that has never accepted or denied. But on a large scale, it is understood that Israel has nuclear weapons. Perhaps this would have remained hidden until today if this person had not been there. In 1986, he was a technician in Israel's nuclear facility, and he made a big deal in front of the British newspapers. He leaked all the photos of secret documents. Actually, Israel, which had already worked with France on a nuclear mission, also wanted to make his nuclear bomb in the face of the threat of the Arabs. But American President Kennedy was strongly opposed to it. Finally, when Kennedy was assassinated, the road became clear. And 4 years later, in 1967, Israel completed its program with great secrecy. In 1986, when Mordecai Vanunu broke this secret, a honey trap operation was planned through Mossad, and he was brought back to Israel. Despite being sentenced to 18 years, this person is still living in strict restrictions. The seventh country was India, whose scientists had started research on nuclear before the partition. Initially, India's intention was only to generate electricity. But the 1962 China-India War changed everything. The defeat in the Himalayas forced India to think about nuclear bombs. Then in 1964, when China conducted its first nuclear test, it became a do-or-die situation for India. Then India made an excuse to generate electricity and ordered reactors from Canada and America. But something else was going on behind the scenes. In 1974, there was a sudden explosion in the desert of Rajasthan. It was nothing but the explosion of Project Smiling Buddha. India said it was not a bomb, but a peaceful nuclear explosion. But the United States and Canada were very angry about this, because India had used their technology to make bombs. As a result, strict restrictions were imposed on India, and India clearly refused to sign the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. This is the treaty where countries agree on rules to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. But the story did not end here. They had tested the bomb in 1974, but it took another 20 years to make it look like a weapon. And this explosion had made another country restless across the border: Pakistan. Now it's time for South Africa. The story of South Africa is unique. Until the 1970s, there was no interest in nuclear bombs. But then the situation changed. In South Africa, there was a strict law of racial discrimination. That is, the law was different for white people and different for blacks. Even black people had to take an outpass to roam in their own country. Because of this law, the whole world boycotted them. On top of that, the Soviet Union increased its influence in Namibia and Angola. South Africa was afraid that the Russians might reach us and take over our black population. In this difficult time, there was one country that supported South Africa: Israel. Israel shared weapons, fighter jets, and nuclear research with them and demanded uranium in return. Then in 1979, there was a famous incident called the Vela Incident. American satellites recorded two very large flashes near the South African Sea. It is believed that this was a joint nuclear test between Israel and South Africa. According to experts, Israel used South Africa's land and gave it its research in return. But in 1990, after the end of the Soviet Union, South Africa was the first country to end its own nuclear weapons. Now it's the turn of Pakistan, which is number 9 in getting a nuclear weapon. It started in 1971, when, after the war with India, West Pakistan separated and became Bangladesh. In 1974, India's Smiling Buddha test further increased this dispute. Abdul Qadir Khan, who was a Pakistani scientist, worked in a nuclear facility in Holland. He got secret information about the enrichment of uranium, and he came to Pakistan with his blueprints. In addition, China also helped Pakistan a lot because China wanted to form a strong alliance against India. In the beginning, America did not try to stop Pakistan either, because 1, they were underestimating Pakistan's capabilities, and second, Pakistan was an important partner of America in the war against the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. In 1998, when India made 5 nuclear explosions, Pakistan tested its underground in the Roscoe Mountains a few weeks later. But the story didn't end here. Pakistan was accused of giving nuclear technology to other countries such as Iran, Libya, and North Korea. When the situation worsened and direct accusations were made against the Pakistani government, in 2004, Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan took the blame for everything in a TV program. He admitted that he had sold this technology to North Korea, Iran, and Libya, and after that, he was kept under house arrest for many years. But the question arises, why did Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan give this technology to North Korea, which was miles away? To find out the answer, we head to the 10th and last country in the world to make nuclear bombs: North Korea. North Korea's founder, Kim Il-sung, believed that nuclear weapons were essential to stop old enemies such as South Korea and America. In the 1950s, the Soviet Union helped him a lot in making electricity from nuclear. But later, North Korea began to demand weapons from both the Soviet Union and China, to which both refused to support them. North Korea secretly made its own program, but they did not succeed. In 1990, they also signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty, but the attempt to secretly make weapons continued. In this last attempt, Pakistan also helped them a lot. Some experts believe that nuclear had come to Pakistan, but they were not the missiles that could target nuclear to the remote cities of India. On the other hand, North Korea had excellent missiles, but not nuclear. It is said that they gave Pakistan the designs of their Nodong missiles, and in return, Dr. A.Q. Khan gave them blueprints of centrifuges to enrich uranium. In October 2006, North Korea conducted its first test, which was so small that people said that perhaps it has malfunctioned. But in 2009, when Kim Il-sung fell ill, he made a second and much more powerful explosion to show his strength. It was so intense that the Earth had a record of 5 magnitude on the Richter scale. Thus, North Korea became the last country in the world to make nukes. But was it the last horse of this race? Looking at the situation, it seems that Iran will be next. But Israel, which is the only nuclear power in the Middle East, is putting pressure on Iran from all sides. And if Iran succeeds in this, Saudi Arabia would seek nuclear weapons as well, because Mohammed bin Salman has said many times that if Iran makes a nuclear bomb, Saudi Arabia will not be left behind. I hope you will like and share this video and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next great video.